Home Radio, our friend Sebastian Gorka. Dr. G, welcome back to the program.
Great to be back, Ron. Thanks for having me.
So, Dr. G, Real Clear Politics just pulled back Pennsylvania. They said, hey, we're not going to call it. We take it back. This is huge for the president.
Just moments before you went live, Real Clear Politics took Pennsylvania from the Biden column and switched it to the president's. This is huge. And let me be very clear. When Biden went out on the stage today and stood in front of a blue background that had the words Office of the President-elect, he lied to every single American. I've been on a presidential transition team. I've served in the White House. There's no such thing in the U.S. Constitution as an office of the president-elect. And by the way, you don't have a president-elect until the Electoral College decides, and that's in December. The whole thing is a fraud, Grant.
All right, and so we can't be surprised that they're lying about this now. And the bottom line is none of these elections have been certified. In some states, the votes haven't even been counted. So, Dr. G, what is, as you see it, the president's path to victory here? What needs to fall into place to make this happen?
So, let's be clear. It's an uphill battle because judges, whether they're federal judges at the local, state level, or whether they're the Supreme Court, are incredibly reluctant to reverse a decision in an election or to nullify an election. And because we don't have the paper trail for when the illegal ballots that were opened without poll observers there were mixed into the other ballots, it's going to be very hard to separate them. So here's the challenge. I had Rudy Giuliani on the show today. I had Andy McCarthy. We have to go full bore on every challenge where a dead person voted, where a 14-year-old voted, the 9,000, the minimum 9,000 who voted in Nevada who weren't residents of Nevada. Every single one of those challenges have to be made. But there's a much more important part of this. It's communicating it, and it's the political victory. I get DMs, I get texts every day saying, what can I do, Dr. G? Stop asking and get out there. If there was ever a time to put that red MAGA hat on, to get your stars and stripes and to protest, it is now. I don't care if you don't live in Philly. I don't care if you're not in North Carolina. Get on the streets. 71 million Americans chose Donald Trump. That's 8 million more than 4 years ago. Let your voice be heard. 12 o'clock in D.C., there's going to be a 1 million-man march. Get to D.C. Let's put the pressure on. Let's rattle the cages until Grant, the people who committed the felonies are all the way through the system. Let's rattle the cage. Let's shake the tree until the low-hanging fruit says, I don't want to go to prison for beiging Biden, and we get some real whistleblowers.
So, Seb, I've got limited confidence in the DOJ to do its job and investigate the fraud. Now,
forget the
Attorney
DOJ.
General Barr has said, well, all right, so Attorney General Barr says he's going to let his investigators investigate. So what are you doing? You go to the states to investigate the fraud? Because, you know, we can only do so much here at Newsmax and at your show. Who's going to investigate this stuff?
I had Bill Barr's back for the longest time. He has utterly failed us. The guy who said he would clean the Department of Justice didn't give us the report on what happened in the last election, hasn't released anything to do with affidavits or with indictments. He is absent without leave. He is a failure. I don't trust the DOJ. I'm sad to say this. I don't trust the FBI. So I've written a plan for the president. I've given it to the White House. His lawyers, Rudy, his A-team, Ambassador Rick Grinnell, Pam Bondi, Don Jr., they have, Dave Bossy. I'm prepared to help. We have to go out there and fight this for America. Forget the DOJ. It's the most corrupt department out there. We have to protest, get on the streets, and get the A-team to win this for the man who got more votes than any other president in American history, Grant.